Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our show. Today with me, the Isaac Martinez. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about magic. Now, one of the reasons I got into magic was, growing up, I was a little bit of a loner, I guess. I'm a twin. I have an identical twin brother. His name is Abraham. And growing up, we were kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. So, I got into magic when I was around 10, 11. I grew up reading books on the Mayans, ancient Aztecs, ancient Egypt, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and as I got older, I started to see there was a lot of correlations, a lot of things that were the same, such as pyramids, worship, who they worshipped. And, the Aztecs, they worshipped Kukulkan, and the Mayans worshipped Quetzalcoatl. The Incans worshipped Popol Vuh, and basically they were all known as the sun god. Okay. Back then, you look at things, and the only way they could have described something was through drawing, because there was no really real form of writing, and we're going to get into that. So they drew things. We're going to get into writing and all that was for the elite. Well, but hold real quick. Back in the day, so say if you were to see, say, a spaceship or an alien, okay, what we call extraterrestrials today. If you were to see a spaceship or something like that coming, we have the words, we would say, okay, well, we saw this reptile-like thing coming out of a spaceship. Okay, well, back then they would have said, well, we saw this reptile-like thing flying, and the only way they could describe flying was they knew things that only flew had wings or had feathers. So Quetzalcoatl was known as the feathered serpent, okay? Popol Vuh, the same thing. Quetzalcoatl, the same thing. That's what his name meant. Now, when you look back in history, reptiles or reptilians are looked at in the same sense as demons in some religions, in some aspects, the same thing. Now, magic, okay, what I got into was, the more I read into it, I saw there was a lot of similarities in magic. More or less witchcraft, some paganism as far as druidism, and different things like that. Now, I ended up getting this book right here, which is known as the Blue Book in some circles. It's complete book of witchcraft, okay, by Dr. Raymond Buckland. And in here he talks about different types of magic, okay? So you have cord magic, you have candle magic, you have, different, divination, reading teas and things like that. And I saw there was a lot of similarities between what's described in this book and what is also described in other rituals. Okay, now you can be old school witch, traditional witch is what I mean, where you're basically a generational witch. Okay, your family did it, your grandfather, your grandmother, whatever, and things were passed on to you over time. I am of some Yaqui descent. My great grandmother was Yaqui Indian, and she used to tell us different things that we couldn't understand, such as the dreams that we have. And as I got older, I got more interested in this type of things. Reason being is, growing up, I would have what was known as deja vu. Okay, so I would dream about something and then it would happen, or I would dream about somebody and then I would see them. And when I was around 10 or 11, my mom got pregnant with my youngest sister. And she ended up getting my room. And when she got my room, weird things started happening after she moved in. I remember one point, my dad asked me to go in the room and get her a diaper. And the rocking chair started moving on its own. And then the mobile above her bed started moving on its own. I kind of brushed off the mobile because sometimes it would get stuck and move on its own. But the rocking chair kind of scared me. So, of course, I hightailed it way out of there, went and told my parents what happened. Other little things would happen, such as my mom and my sister were talking about that incident in the kitchen, and the light fell and turned on the water faucet in the kitchen. Now, this wasn't like the faucets today where you can touch or you push up and down. This is, you have to turn it. Okay? So it was weird when that went on. Another time we had one of those old toys back in the days, you know, you could spell it out. And so if it tell you a duck, it would say a duck. How to spell duck? You would D-U-C-K. Well, one time we were playing with it. We were real little. My sister wasn't able to talk yet. And every time you push the W, it sounded like it was saying killing you, killing you, killing you. And so, you know, like I said, little things like that just got me into the supernatural. And so the whole reason I started doing these videos was to see if there were other people out there like me who were into fashion, magic, you know, just they're open to a bunch of different things. However, I don't worship the devil or things like that. I did for a long time, you know, walk a dark path. I harbored a lot of hate, I'm not gonna lie. And that was the whole reason I did get into, you know, dark stuff. I read the Necronomicon when I was 17. And, you know, I did a lot of bad things. Okay, I'm grateful today that I'm not dead. You know, thank God, thank Jesus. But I gave up alcoholism. I gave up drugs. I do smoke marijuana, which to me it helps me alleviate my anger, anxiety, anything like that. I'd rather not take pills. Been down that path. So I am sober of everything else, but I do smoke marijuana. I do think that it is more beneficial to a lot of people. For me, like I said, children that have epilepsy, you know, CBD is good for them and stuff. But that's for a whole other page we'll get into. The reason today I'm talking about this is there's a movie called Tolkien coming out, and basically a lot of people, I'm not sure if they know, but if you've read the, you know, the Hobbit series or the Lord of the Rings or you know, anything like that, you know, that was from the writer J.R.R. Tolkien, and he grew up in England, and he was into magic. And actually him and I believe him and 3 or 4 other guys got together, and they got into this group, you know, where they were able to do magic or things of the occult. Occult being things that, you know, things that were forbidden knowledge. Okay, and they did their own thing, and it was called the OTO, Ordo Templarios Order, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was from the OTO, and the other people that were in that group were C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, Aleister Crowley, L. Ron Hubbard, and John Parsons. Okay, and as you may know, L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of Scientology, which I look at as a cult. I'm sorry if there's anybody out there that doesn't believe me, but if you join a group or something like that, okay, and they tell you what you are allowed to eat, when to sleep, how many hours you can work, when you can and can't leave or see your loved ones, it's a cult. Okay, don't be duped, don't be fooled, it's a cult. Okay, magic for me was something that I kind of got into because I was raised in a Catholic upbringing, and I saw actually a lot of similarities between Catholicism and magic as I got older, such as the baptism rites, the exorcism rite, okay, for exorcisms, which is in some ways frowned upon by the church. However, there has been a rise in paranormal activity and exorcisms in the new century, and I believe personally that it does have to do a lot with a lot of these new shows that are coming out, such as Ghost Adventures. Now there's Portals with Jack Osborne and Katrina, the chick that used to be with Zach Groff, and the other kid from Paranormal. something paranormal. Anyways, I'm sorry if I didn't get the names right. However, I feel certain shows like this, Kindred Spirits, Haunted Hospitals, Paranormal 911, Evil Things, A Haunting, all these shows speak on hauntings. And the more and more you get into it, you see that it does have to do with magic or certain things of voodoo. Okay, now magic is a religion. Okay, it was a religion for the elite. Now, back in the days, everybody wasn't allowed to be taught how to read, how to write, arithmetic. Okay, only those that were empowered, like the royal family, barons, people that showed or had a certain, I guess, standard in society. Okay, in India they call it the caste system. So everybody lives in a certain standard, and if you were a part of the elite, quote unquote, then magic was what you were taught. That was the religion. Okay, now magic isn't for everyone. Okay, understandably so. There are certain things that magic requires that, you know, if you do not fully understand it, you can get hurt. You can even be killed or go crazy. Okay, there are things worse than death. Being trapped within your own mind where you can't talk to anybody, nobody is able to get to you. To some people, that may be their own personal hell. Okay, so don't go and do things that you don't know anything about. Okay, magic is definitely real. Um, so just don't take it lightly. Okay, like I said, there's been a lot of correlations that I've also seen between Native American magic and pagan magic. Such as Futark, which is a writing, runes, which is also known, and that's a way of writing. Um, which the reason why it's called Futark is because in the alphabet, it's like the first 6 letters read in it. It actually spells Futark. So that is one of the words, or one of the writings. Okay, if you watch Lord of the Rings, any of those, they show runes. Like I said, I grew up in magic. I love vampires. I love witches. I love werewolves. When I was younger, me and my brother would actually go and get books on how to become werewolves. You know what I mean? That's how intrigued we were by this stuff. I saw a lot of similarities between Greek beliefs and mythology, and Roman mythology, and Egyptian mythology. Okay, in this book, okay, they do talk about scrying. They do talk about, divination with mirrors and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not out here trying to promote magic or black magic or Satanism or anything like that. Okay, I love Jesus. Okay, Jesus is in my heart, and to me, I even have the Bible with me. Okay, because right now we are actually in a time of reckoning. We are in a time of battle with our souls. You could look on the television and you could see these symbols, triangles, circles, eyes, the cone of power specifically, okay, and witchcraft, which is talked about in this book, is the triangle, okay, and that is basically absorbing energy to be harnessed and built and put out into the world. There's sex magic, cord magic, like I said, there's a bunch of different magic, tea readings, tarot cards, astrology, there's a bunch of things, but like I said, I do this because I feel all my life there was something, a bigger purpose for me. I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I wanted the fame, I wanted the money, I wanted the girls, I mean, I was blessed with my wife, Natasha Looney. I love you, baby. Thank you for saving my life. Yeah, there was times I questioned if I was a good guy pretending to be bad or a bad guy pretending to be good. I now have 2 sons, And I'm just trying to teach them everything that I went through so they don't have to have a hard time. Some of us have to go through the fire to learn. You know what I mean? Like they say, sometimes out of the fire is through it. And, you know, sometimes you have to learn. Sometimes the hard way. You know, nobody else can tell you any different. Just like, you know, love. Nobody can tell you when you love or don't love somebody. You know, that's something that you believe. And that's what faith is. That's exactly what magic is. I'm not into Satanism. I don't worship the devil or anything like that. I've always been kind of into, you know, the dark side of life, in a sense. I was born October 24th, you know, which is 7 days before Samhain, you know, Samhain, which is Halloween. If you don't know, that is the day that, you know, Wiccans, pagans look at as, in a sense, of the new year. It is the death of the old god and the rising of a new god. But once again, you know, this is Isaac. You know, thank you for the time that you spent here. Once again, all my subscribers, I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Share, hit that like button, and we'll talk again. Okay? Once again, it's Isaac. God bless you guys. And once again, thank you for coming to our channel.